All right, guys, welcome back to another week of at-home learning. Today we're going to be looking at pages 225 and 226 for your phonics. And remember last week we talked about prefixes. We talked about how if we take a base word and put RE at the beginning of it, it means to do it again. If we have UN and we put that at the beginning of our base word, it means to do the opposite. So we talked about we can tie our shoes, and then we can untie our shoes, and then we could retie our shoes. But today we're adding another prefix. We're adding DIS, dis. And dis does the same thing that undoes. It makes it be the opposite. So I could agree with you, or I could disagree with you. So disagree, we know, is the opposite of agree. We've talked about that, how we can disagree with our friends' opinions and we can still be friends, right? We can agree to disagree. So on our phonics paper today, on the front, you'll see a picture of a dog with a toy box. And let's read the yellow box at the top of that about dis. Add dis to the word beside each sentence. Use the new words to finish the sentences. Okay? Remember, we're using the word at the end of the sentence. It's not a word box. They're giving us the word the base word that we have to put dis in front of. So it says, my shoe blank again. The word at the end of the sentence is appeared. So in the blank, I'm going to write dis. And then appeared. Okay. So remember, there's no space here. It's one word, disappeared. My shoe disappeared again. Okay, and this is all about the person who's telling the story. It's a boy who's telling the story. It tells us at the bottom because it uses the word he. So he lost his shoe, it disappeared again, and I wonder what his dog may have had to do with it. Let's fill in the blanks and read the story to find out. All right, turn your papers over. Okay. On the back, we're still working with dis. Let's look at the word at the top of the page. It says, fill in the bubble beside the word that will finish each sentence. Print the word on the line. Okay, so let's look at number one. There's a picture of a telephone, and if you notice, it is not connected to the wall. Okay? It says, Mr. Fix-It will blank the telephone before fixing it. Will he discolor the telephone or disconnect the telephone? Okay, he will disconnect it. And number two is one that a lot of first graders aren't familiar with, so I'm going to talk about that one as well. So go ahead and for number one, fill in the bubble for disconnect, print the word on the line, and then we'll go on to number two. Okay, number two. The rider will blank and let her horse rest. And the words are dismount and distaste. And a lot of people, you know what taste means, but a lot of people don't know what mount means. If you mount something, you're getting on it. So you might mount a horse or mount to get on the balance beam. And when you dismount, you're getting off. So when you jump off the balance beam, you will dismount. When you get off the horse, you will dismount. Okay? So the rider will dismount and let her horse rest. So for number two, go ahead and fill in the bubble for dismount and print it on the line. Okay, so you can finish this on your own. You may do forwards or backwards phonics, and we'll see you back here in a little while for math. All right, guys, welcome back for math. We're on pages 373 and 374, and we're going to start talking about telling time. So let's look at the top of our page under Let's Learn. Read the time on each clock as 7 o'clock. And there are two clocks. There's a round one with the numbers around it like this. That's called an analog clock. And then next to it, there's a rectangular clock that says 7. Then it has two dots. Those dots are called a colon, and a 2 followed by 2 zeros. That's called a digital clock. And you might be wondering, well, why do I have to learn how to tell time on two different clocks? Well, in your house, you probably have a lot of digital clocks. But at school, we have analog clocks. So if you're sitting in class and you're wondering, when is it going to be lunchtime? If you know how to tell time on the analog clock, you know when it will be lunchtime. And it's important to know both analog and digital. Let's say analog together. Ready? Analog. And I think you're familiar with the word digital. If not, we just learned another new word. Okay, so let's first look at the boxes pointing to the analog clock. It says the minute hand is long. It tells the minute. The hour hand is short. It tells the hour. And you might be thinking, oh no, which one is the minute hand? Is it the long one or the short one? I don't remember. Is the hour hand the long one or the short one? Well, I have a trick to help you remember. Let's look at the words minute and hour. Here's the word minute. Here's the word hour. The word minute has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. The word hour only has 1, 2, 3, 4. The minute hand is the longer word and the longer hand. The hour hand is the short word and the shorter hand. So you can use that to help you remember. The word minute is longer than the word hour. The minute hand is the longer hand. The hour hand is the shorter hand. Okay? And whenever our minute hand is pointing to the 12, we say it's something o'clock. It'll be 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock. It'll be something o'clock. All right? And on the digital clock, whenever we have the two dots with zeros, that's telling you there's 0 minutes. It's also something o'clock. All right? So on our example, we're still at the top of the page next to Let's Learn. The longer hand is the blue one. Now, on a regular analog clock, the hands will be the same color, but they use different colors to help you on your paper to see which one's longer or shorter. The longer one is blue. It's the minute hand. It's pointing to the 12. So we know it's something o'clock. So now we have to look at the hour hand. Remember, the hour hand is our red hand on our book. It's pointing to the 7, so it's 7 o'clock. If that red hour hand was pointing to the 8, it would be 8 o'clock. If it was pointing to the 9, it would be 9 o'clock. So as long as the minute hand is pointing to the 12, we look at the hour hand to say it's something o'clock. All right? Let's look at number 1. It says, write the time in 2 ways. In number 1, both the hour hand and the minute hand are pointing to 12. So it's going to be 12 o'clock. So trace the 12 on the line for 12 o'clock underneath your analog clock, and trace the 12 in your digital clock. Let's look at number 2. All right, in number 2, our hour hand is pointing to the 6. Our minute hand is pointing to the 12. Okay? If the minute hand's pointing to the 12, it's something o'clock. If the hour hand's pointing to the 6, it is 6 o'clock. Okay? So we're going to put a 6 in front of the o'clock and a 6 in our digital clock. Make sure you can see it. Okay, we're going to do one more together. Number 3. All right, number 3, the minute hand is still pointing to the 12. The hour hand is pointing to the 1. Okay. If the minute hand's pointing to the 12, it's something o'clock. The hour hand is pointing to the 1, so that's telling us it's 1 o'clock. So number 3, put a 1 on the blank in front of a clock and a 1 in your digital clock. I want you to try numbers 4, 5, and 6 on your own. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, you can do 4, 5, and 6. Check with a grown-up and come back. And you'll do that in a few minutes. Right now, let's look at number 7. Where are the minute and hour hands on a clock when it is 2 o'clock? Remember, if it's something o'clock, the minute hand always points to the 12. The hour hand will point to the 2. We just did that together, so you can put a check mark on number 7 and turn your papers over. You're going to finish the back on your own. You will do the word problems for 14 and 15, and you will do the challenge problems, okay? Now remember, when you're drawing the hands, make sure you draw your minute hand longer than your hour hand. All right, and when you're finished, you can come back for English. All right, hi guys, welcome back for English. Today we're just doing page 218. You've done a lot with dictionary skills. You know that on page 217 that ball comes before star in alphabetical order. If you want to do it for fun, you may, but we're only going to look at the back today for our lesson, page 218. It's called Encyclopedia Skills. And I'd like you to read this with me. An encyclopedia is a group of books that has facts. The facts are about people, places, things, and events. Each book is called a volume. The topics in an encyclopedia are in ABC order. Read this encyclopedia entry, then answer the questions. Okay? So an encyclopedia isn't one book. It's a lot of books that you'd see lined up on a shelf, and they go in alphabetical order, A through Z. So the one in the picture is the Encyclopedia of Knowledge. It has an S, so that means all of the things in this encyclopedia begin with the letter S. And it's volume 19, so that means there are 18 of them, 18 books before this one, and then there will be some after. Okay, so it's the one that begins with the letter S, and it's the 19th book on the shelf. All right. It says, read this encyclopedia entry, then answer the question. So let's read the entry. It's about a snake. A snake is a reptile. It has scaly skin. A snake is cold-blooded. It warms itself in the sun. A snake does not have legs. It moves along the ground on its belly. A snake does not use its nose to smell. It flicks its tongue in the air to smell the world around it. Some snakes have poisonous venom. They use it to kill their prey. A snake swallows its food whole. After eating a large meal, a snake may not eat again for days or even weeks. All right, and then it says number 1. Which volume number would you use to find facts about snakes? So look at the book again. It says Encyclopedia of Knowledge, S, volume 19. So on number 1, you're going to write the number 19. Number 2, What is one fact about snakes? Some of you I know already know a lot about snakes, but I want you to write a fact from this entry in the encyclopedia. I want you to write something that's written on this page. So you're going to use a complete sentence. Make sure it begins with an uppercase letter. Make sure it ends with a period. And write a sentence to tell me something that it says about our encyclopedia entry on snakes. Okay? When you finish with that, come on back for our Hawaii booklet. See you in a few minutes. All right, time to talk about Hawaii. Today in our Hawaii booklet, we're looking at pages 8 and 9. And if you don't have your booklet in front of you, that's okay. I know some of you have it on your computer screens or your iPad screens, and some of you have printed out copies. So I'll make sure to hold this up so you can see it if you're actually working from your computer. All right, the top of our page says Learn About Hawaii. And I'm going to make sure that you can see the words here because of my page folded over. Let's see. All right. I can see it, but it's not showing up on the screen. Let's try one more time. There we go. Hawaii is a state that is made up of 132 islands, but most of the people live on only 8 islands. And some of the other things you've said have said they live on 7 islands. That's because on one of the islands there are only a few people who live there. Hawaii is in the Pacific Ocean. California is the closest state to Hawaii. And then there's a map of Hawaii. And right here there's a map key. So if you see this picture, you know that stands for a volcano. That stands for sugar cane. If you see a circle with a star in it, that's showing us the capital of Hawaii. And here this symbol is for a pineapple. And this one's showing a city. Underneath it says study the key, then draw a circle around the word or group of words that best completes each sentence. Okay, so number 1, Hawaii is a blank. All right, is Hawaii a state or is Hawaii a country? Hawaii is a state, so I want you to circle the word state. The instructions don't tell you to put it on the line, but I would like you to print it there. Now, if your booklet is on your iPad or computer, just write a number 1, because it's sentence number 1, and then just write the word state. So Hawaii is a state. Okay? Don't let number 2 trick you. Read carefully, and when you're finished, we'll look at page 9. So you may pause now and finish page 8, or we can look at page 9 and then you can go back and finish page 8. Page 9 says let's count in Hawaii, or let's learn to count in Hawaiian. And here we have the number under the Hawaiian word. So I'm going to start with number 1, and we're going to go all the way around to number 10. Ready? I'm going to say it, and then we'll say it together. Number 1 is a kahi, a kahi. Number 2, a lua, a lua. Number 3, a kolu, a kolu. Number 4, eha, eha. Number 5, a lima, a lima. Number 6, aono, aono. Number 7, a hiku, a hiku. Number 8, a valu, a valu. Number 9, a iva, a iva. And number 10, umi, umi. Okay, so you can have fun counting to 10 in Hawaiian. If you'd like to do that some more, just rewind a little bit in the video. Make sure you go back if you have not completed page 8. make sure you go back and do that. Now, when we come back tomorrow for Hawaii, remember, we don't have pages 10 and 11. We're going up to pages 12 and 13. Okay, go ahead and look at Freckle Juice and have a great rest of your day.